Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwame. I'm a mental health advocate and also I'm a speaker and a clinical pharmacist. And today I'm a guest speaker for your International Men's Day celebration event over here, hosted by UCL and LSC. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Jaden, and your team and everyone over here as well. So just to begin with, this is not a presentation. This is very interactive because I want it to be very interactive because all of us over here, one way or another, have actually experienced what I'm about to talk about. So if you've got any questions to ask, feel free. Ask me, I'll pause. We'll discuss it as well. And everything that gets discussed over here is nothing personal or anything. So if at any time of this talk or conversation, it becomes very overwhelming, it's fine. You can actually step out a little bit. And if it gets better, you can come in. And if you want me to come and speak or you need support, we'll be able to support you as well. So we are not going to discuss anything that is also going to trigger that. So just giving that hindsight as well. So today's International Men's Day celebration is focused on mental health. And the simple definition of mental health, most of the time, it has got a negative connotation. Whenever we make mention of mental health, a lot of people have a lot of disorders flying through our mind. But it could be good or it could be bad. And the simple definition of mental health is how we think, how we feel, and how we act. So we could have a good mental health whereby how we think, how we feel, and how we act could actually come across positive. But if it's affected, that is when it comes across in a negative kind of way. Show by hands in this room, how many people have used the phrase be a man or man up? How many? Pretty much every single person, isn't it? Everyone. And when we use it, do we use it in a form of encouraging someone or we use it as a form of letting them realize that they are men and they need to overcome whatever they are going through? Anyone can share? From what perspective do we use it?
Encouragement.
To encourage them. Who else? Anyone else?
To motivate them.
To motivate them. Fantastic. So we always say it from that point of view, but have we realized that sometimes too it can come across in a negative way? Has anyone thought about it that way? Anyone? Especially when you are really, really drowning in life. Like you've gone to sit an exam, 2 papers has not gone well, and you know that you can't afford to do a resit because you want to actually end up having a good summer, and someone comes to you. Instead of you want to receive that pat at your back, someone tells you to be a man. How would you feel? How would that make you feel? Would that make you feel motivated, encouraged, or it will even make it worse?
Worse.
Yeah, fantastic. So it's a spoken word that I actually wrote about because over the years, all of us growing up in our various homes, we've heard it from our moms, we've heard it from our dads, we heard it from our uncles, our aunties, our family members, pretty much, even our friends. They've used it in that kind of way. But it is something that, as I made mention of, it could end up actually causing emotional suppression. It could actually end up becoming societal pressure because society would never teach us to be a man. It would never show us how to be a man is, but they expect us to end up behaving like one when we reach a certain age, which actually ends up becoming very hard because there's no support. So this evening, this conversation is going to encompass the effects of emotional suppression, benefits of support that we can actually get, and also strategies that mental health management can actually end up resulting. So the theme of the spoken word, which I titled Be a Man, it actually resonates how men, we can actually be vulnerable. It actually talks about resilience and the search for healing. Because most of the time, everyone over here, we are very good at masking stuff, isn't it? When we are going through deep stuff, even your friend next to you might even not know it, but your reaction could end up giving a different signal that, no, I think my friend is going through something. Henceforth, let me just, see what I can actually do to help by asking them, because the society has actually made it look like we are men. We have to deal with it. We don't need support. But we are here to end up changing that whole narrative, that whole outdated kind of mentality that society has actually ended up putting on us. So in terms of the journey, is going to help us to be able to unpack the layers using strategies for supporting men's mental health. And what effects do emotional suppression give us? Does anyone know? You can shout out. Does anyone know what emotional suppression, what it does to us as humans in general?
Make you feel overwhelmed.
It makes you feel overwhelmed. Fantastic. Who else? Anxiety. Fantastic. Anyone else? Depression. Thank you very much. So basically, you guys have basically read everything I've actually said. I've actually written. So that is what is being made mention of. Whenever we emotionally suppress, we end up compiling a lot of different emotions within us. As is being mentioned, we become overwhelmed. We become so overwhelmed that we don't even know what to do. It could actually end up causing anxiety in us. We become so anxious that is something that is actually within us and we can't let go. It's like having a bottle of cola at the back and shaking it. When you open the cup, what happens? Does it not face all of it out? That's how, unfortunately, emotional suppression can actually do. It makes us actually end up releasing it in a certain way that we might not be happy or we might not feel comfortable coming out, but unfortunately, that's what that kind of compaction of emotions has actually caused us. And it also can lead to depression as well. And it could also lead to emotional dysregulation because people could end up experiencing mood swings. When I say mood swings, one moment they are happy, the next moment they are really, really low. And if care is not taken and it becomes a long-term kind of effect, that's when the person could end up developing a condition such as bipolar or schizophrenia. So it's really important that when we end up dodging our emotions, this is what could actually happen to us. But unfortunately, that is what society has ended up establishing for us to end up following. But we are not here to actually follow what society is actually saying. So emotional suppression tends to cause the internal conflict and that mental strain on us. And did we know that it could also have physical effects on us? Did anyone know? Did anyone know? You never knew. So in terms of emotional suppression, it can actually end up having hypertension on us. When I mean hypertension, it can actually end up rising our blood pressure. You know, because we end up become so emotionally suppressed, we rage, we are not able to get out. All of these are having effects because your hormones are ended up actually being not regulated properly. Therefore, your blood pressure could end up going high. And if your blood pressure goes high and care is not taken, it ends up becoming a long-term cardiovascular kind of condition. So most of the time, whenever we talk about mental health, these are the kind of stuff that sometimes we actually overlook. Why we should actually end up taking care of ourselves in terms of men as our mental health. And also sometimes we can end up experiencing tension headaches and muscle pain. All of a sudden we start experiencing all this pain because there's something going on within us that we have not actually addressed or we have not ended up getting the opportunity for someone to address it with us. And lastly, it could also end up having impact on our relationship with people, intimacy, our friendships, our family life. It could end up having an effect because the least thing that someone end up saying, you end up getting angry because you have actually experienced something within you that you don't even know how to express your emotions. So even if someone is around you, for example, your friend has actually received a good news, you don't even know how to even congratulate. Then the next moment, your friend may think it's something personal. Oh, this person is jealous of me. He doesn't want the best for me. But your friend might not even know what you are battling within. But because you're not showing emotions, those are the kind of conclusions that it makes. And eventually it could end up actually breaking the relationship that you have with that person. So that is what it could end up causing us between us and people. And what benefits do we get from seeking from help in terms of our mental health? There are loads of benefits that we could actually end up experiencing as men. You know, some of the support that we actually need is within our environs. Today, what brought us here? Does anyone know? What brought us here in this room? Community, fantastic. We make mention of that word, communities, ACS, that actually brought us all together with that common goal to come and discuss something really, really significant, which is International Men's Day for us to all celebrate. However, if it wasn't that, maybe you might be somewhere else. There is power in community. Sometimes we tend to end up overlooking what having that kind of sense of engagement within this room could actually have, because you do, maybe your course is a 9 to 5. You end up doing a lot of, your course is very, very demanding to the point that you have to end up doing a lot of activities, a lot of work. However, by coming to this room today, you are doing something which is releasing the stress that you might be going through at uni, that you might not have got any time to take time off. But today's event has actually built community. It's not only community, it built the connection, because I believe straight afterwards, you guys are going to have your own games, Monopoly or PS5 that you guys are going to play. It helps to end up actually, killing the stress down. Also, one of the things that it helps to also promote open conversations, because what we are doing right now over here, the engagement we're having open conversations. So if anyone has got, let's say, something bottled within themselves regarding this topic, there's a likelihood that they are going to end up opening up and sharing or even seeking for help, because I've been able to break the ice, and everybody over here has been able to break the ice for us to end up engaging in such a conversation as well. And also, one of the things that it does is that it helps to reduce the stigma, because we've made mention of that word mental health, poor mental health. So by we actually making mention of it, it would end up driving someone over here, within here, if they are having an effect on their mental health, to go and actually seek for help, or even to speak about it, to find someone they confine in, to engage that conversation with. It could go a long way to reduce the stigmatism. So those are the kind of things that it helps to actually end up reducing. And also, by engaging in exercise, physical activities, you don't have to end up going to the gym and actually doing weight. It might even end up being walking, doing your runnings and everything. It helps to end up reducing something called cortisol, which causes stress, because cortisol is a very, very magic chemical within us, which is what causes stress. And some of the ways, it's going to be funny what I'm going to say, but it's the truth. Some of the ways that we could end up experiencing stress is by crying. How many over here, when was the last time that you cried? Does anyone remember? That you've gone through that pain that whether in your own confinement or in the midst of people. How many of you have cried? You cried? You've cried? Yeah. So by crying, do you know what you're doing? You're basically crying out the stress within you. How do you feel like when you finish crying, or you have actually gone through tough moments and you've cried? Do you feel good? No. You don't feel good? Why?
You still feel upset.
You still feel upset?
Release it.
Yeah, but does it make you feel lighter?
In some sense.
Yeah. Because I've experienced that. That's why I'm actually asking if everybody actually experiences that. Because most of the time, there's this popular word that they say, men don't cry, right? But hey, we are humans. That's why we can actually express our emotions. Crying is not only open up to women to actually end up expressing that kind of thing. And do we know that animals even cry? Do we know that? Do we know that animals cry? Have you seen a dog crying before? When it lost, you've never. All right. When a puppy is lost, they don't cry as humans, but they make certain kind of noise, which comes like expressing their pain. What I'm trying to actually drive at is that as men, we are humans. We have been portrayed as stoic within the society. We are tough. We are that kind of masculine and everything. But we still need help. We are humans. God actually put that kind of way of expressing our emotions within ourselves. If we can laugh, if we are allowed to banter, how much more if the opposite happens? We are not allowed to, express that through our cry, because we expressing it through anger, it's not going to be helpful, because we might end up, releasing it on the wrong person. And also, as easy as art, music, or even reading or meditation through prayers can end up releasing stress as well. Because if you are listening to music, because I'm a very big music lover, every morning before I go to work, whilst I'm driving to work, the only thing I'll be doing is just playing music, because it helps me to calm down and it prepares me for my day, because I don't know what is ahead of me, but by me playing music and meditating, it helps to actually prepare me for what is ahead of me. And on the other side of it, if all these have been done, and the person requires extra support, i.e. it's been identified that they're experiencing a severe poor mental health, i.e. they've developed a mental health disorder, that is when we could end up introducing medication. And even before medication, they could even try therapy. How many of you know about therapy? You know about therapy? Yeah? Most of the time, we come from a community whereby therapy is actually being tagged as a waste of time because you're going to talk to someone you don't even know. But meanwhile, therapy is really good because therapy does not necessarily have to be someone that you have to sit in front of, a foreign person. It could end up being the community, your society. You can actually end up speaking to someone that you confide in, who you know is going to give you the best support when it comes to helping you with your mental health. So therapy should not be demonized or should not be looked at as a waste of time. It's something that is being there instituted to help people to be able to talk about how they feel like. I have done therapy before, I'll be honest with you, and it felt really, really good because what I was battling with within myself and pointing the fingers at myself, blaming myself, turned out to be that it wasn't my fault. You get what I'm trying to say? Because in my mind, I was blaming myself. But when I actually sat in front of someone who is a professional therapist, and I broke down the whole incident down, he made me realize that no, it's not that way. It's not your fault. You are rather even the victim. So sometimes it's really important that we find someone that we speak this to. It's not a waste of time. And if it's become a severe condition, that's when my job comes in as a clinical pharmacist. That's when we end up helping the person starting on the medication. But before the medication, as an advocate, I also end up educating people as well. So I play both sides. I educate people to know more about mental health and to know about what they're actually experiencing. And on the other side as well, I help with their medication if they have to be started on one. And also, reading, there is this book that I'm currently reading. How many of you know Shocker, the artist? Anyone knows the rapper Shocker? No one knows him. So I'm currently reading A Section of My Life, which is a book that he has written. He was actually battling with mental health, and he was admitted to the hospital, and he is currently released, and he wrote a book about his life, about his experience. So it's helping me to be able to understand how, as black men, what we go through, and also in the typical life of a black man who is battling with his mental health, how does it look like? What can we do as a society to change the whole narrative? So it's something that I'm actually reading, so you can actually have a look at it. And in terms of emergency, does anyone know where to go for help if there is anyone closer to them experiencing a poor mental health, where to seek for help, or even themselves? Does anyone know? You can give it a try. There's one number that we always call when we are having health emergencies. 111, fantastic. Does anyone know the other number? 999, fantastic. So if the person is going through severe mental health, i.e. the person is on the road, being dangerous, could possibly end up cause danger to themselves or other people, call 999. A police or an ambulance will come very, very quick to come and assist with helping the person. However, if it's not very serious, i.e. the person has, let's say, not taking their medication, they are not feeling themselves, they themselves are aware of their surroundings and they are not feeling themselves, 111 is going to be the number that you have to call. Apart from that, there is the Samaritans. Everybody knows the Samaritans? They are also available to also assist for help. And the other one is BetterHelp, which is also for therapy as well. And they're also for counseling. So if you call these numbers at your own disposal, they are more than willing to end up assisting you as well. So from the whole thing that I've actually talked about, if you didn't hear anything, or you have actually forgot some of the information, some of the takeaway that I want us, as we are leaving this room, to have is that the journey to a better mental health is not a destination. It is a journey for a reason. All of us will have a different journey, It actually doesn't lie in the faith of our hands. It requires intentional steps. We have to be very, very intentional. The same way that we are very intentional in going to the gym to end up toning up, bulking up, that's the same way that we have to be intentional with our mental health. If we know that it's getting heavy, find someone to speak to. If you go to a GP and you speak to them, that doesn't mean automatically you're going to be put on a medication. because most often that is the narrative that is being carried around that, oh, if I end up reporting it, I'm going to be sectioned, I'm going to be put on medication straight away. No, it's a whole long process of assessment before a person is actually end up being taken through those kind of treatment, like giving them the medication or something. But the earlier that you end up speaking about it to get help, the better. And also, it's about us embracing our flaws. We are humans. We make mistakes. You know, we shouldn't be hard on ourselves. We write exams, it doesn't go well. Reflect on where you went wrong. You get opportunity again. Focus on it. Smash it. I've been in this position before as uni students, whereby sometimes we end up not getting the grades that we want. We beat ourselves down. Oh, I wanted to get 90% and I got 75%. We beat ourselves down because we thought we could do better. Nope. We are doing more disservice to ourselves. It's all about reflecting, changing our mindset about it, that what could I have done better? What did I lack? If we're able to identify those earlier on, it will really help. And also it's all about seeking support and building strength through community and strategic relationships. Forming relationship with people that you could end up actually seeking help from in the dire moment when you're actually over here. I don't know where anyone is from, but I believe some people are from outside London and some people are from inside London. Basically, if you're away from home, know who to actually seek help from within your community so that if something happens, they could actually end up supporting you at the earliest as possible. And also, to be a man in today's world, it's not about fitting the outmoded molds, but also embracing humanity in all complexities. As I made mention, we are humans. Our emotions are there for a reason, for us to be able to signal that we are going through something. By bottling it, we are hurting ourselves. We are hurting the people around us. So it's more important that we recognize it, not ignore it, but seek for help at the earliest intervention. And also by these tools that I've actually provided and the space that is being created, it will help to also challenge the stigmatism as well. So if we walk out of this room and we see someone making fun of someone having a poor mental health, we will be able to stop the person and educate them and let them know better that it's nothing funny. It's something that occurs to every human. And even there's a statistic that shows that every human being at every point in time in their life might have actually experienced a poor mental health, because as humans, challenges are bound to happen, and everyone in this room might have had their own challenges along in their life as they grow up. And also, these are what we could actually do as men in our modern society by recognizing our mental health, our emotional health, and our social health as well. So once again, my name is Kwame. I'm a clinical pharmacist, I'm a speaker, and I'm a mental health advocate. Thank you.